prethodnom izlaganju gospodina Bragoncija da imamo problem da se usporava privredna aktivnost, mnogim zemljama preti recesija, s druge strane kamatne stope počinju da rastu, otežano je zaduživanje zemalja regiona i koliko onda u takvim uslovima možemo da dođemo u situaciju da dođe do nekontrolisanog rasta javnog duga, što je svakako bi svako od nas želeo da izbegne u svoje zemlje.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. First of all, thank you for organizing such an event. I believe that we are living in really unexpected times, so events like this help us to figure out better what is the best solution to all the challenges that we have ahead. From the crisis of 2008 that you mentioned, we have been living in a totally different economic environment with easing monetary policy, with with low inflation and other kinds of challenges. The crisis that we face now as Western balance is totally different from the one of 2008. Now all the central banks are increasing interest rates, they are tightening their monetary policy. We have constraints because we come from the pandemic crisis when the level of debts were increasing. And we need to strengthen our fiscal balances. We need to tighten the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. We need to consolidate. So we found ourselves into an unforecastable future. So events like this really help to understand what are the policies that different ministries of finance are introducing in order to fight inflation, in order to bear with the fiscal consolidation, in order to decrease deficit, and to strengthen the fiscal balances of the economies. Albania, differently from the rest of the region, had another crisis to face. So we started in 2019 with the earthquake, which was not only a shake of the ground, but it was a shake of the public finances of the country. Fortunately, we came from a strong fiscal position when the debt was around 66% of the GDP. And we had primary surplus, we have low deficits. So we were living in a good macroeconomic environment and fiscal environment. So we had all the buffers to support the shaking of the finances that came from the earthquake. But yet, in 2020, we entered into the pandemics. Nevertheless, I must say that from all the forecasts that we had for our economy in 2020 and in 2021, but not only ours, also the ones of the IMF and the ones of the World Bank or all the rating institutions, we did relatively well. In 2020, the recession was 3.5%, and at the very beginning, we were expecting around 8%. So the consequences of the closing of the economy were not that hard as we had imagined. And the same in 2021. Our economy recovered better than we thought and faster than we thought, due definitely to the policies that we implemented, but also due to the resilience of our business sector. So we had a growth in 2021 of around 8.5%. And we were prepared for a totally different scenario for 2022, actually. So when we were drafting the budget for 2022, of course, the energy crisis had started. So in the budget of 2022, we forecasted some support, budgetary support, for the energy prices, because we were expecting high energy prices in 2021, but we were not expecting this huge increase in energy prices. We were not expecting the war, so we were not expecting all the disruptions of the chains of supply of food. So we found ourselves at the beginning of 2022 with a totally different challenge than the ones that we had just passed. If in the past we have had increased inflation due to increased demand, now definitely part of the inflation is due to the increased demand of 2021 because of the fast recovery, but it's mostly due to the lack of supply. So, and in economies like ours, where inflation is not only domestic inflation, but is mainly imported inflation, we faced increased prices because of all the international framework and all the prices that we have to absorb from our collaboration with the international community.